Imagine Europe in early 1940. Just try and picture it. There's this really uneasy calm hanging over everything.
Yeah, like the world was holding its breath.
Exactly. After Poland got invaded so fast, so brutally, everyone just braced themselves. They thought, okay, here we go again, another great war, long, bloody trench warfare.
The Phoney War, they called it.
Right, the Phoney War. But underneath that quiet, something totally different was brewing. A storm, really. Unbelievably fast, incredibly fierce.
And nobody saw it coming.
Nobody. It just shows how, what we think is going to happen, our perceptions, can be completely terrifyingly wrong.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're starting a crucial historical journey. It's Blitzkrieg in the West, the Battle of France, 1940, introduction. Our mission here is to really unpack the whole situation in Europe back then, the politics, the military thinking, the key players.
And the state of the armies, too, what they actually had. Yes, exactly. And maybe most importantly, the huge misjudgments, the flawed assumptions on all sides that unknowingly pave the way for one of the quickest, most decisive military victories in history.
It's fascinating, isn't it? War is declared September 3rd, 1939. Germany invades Poland. And then months of relative quiet on the Western Front.
The Phoney War.
Right. And that quiet period, it wasn't just empty time. It let both sides finalize their plans. But crucially, those plans were built on totally different ideas about how this war would actually play out.
Wildly different. And you said misguided earlier, and that really hits the nail on the head because those expectations were poles apart. Let's dig into this Phoney War. September 39 to May 40. The Western Front is just quiet. The French did launch this one small attack into the Saarland,
which they pulled back from almost immediately.
Right, quickly withdrawn. So mostly it's a stalemate. The French called it the drôle de guerre, the joke war.
And the Germans called it Sitzkrieg, the sitting war.
Tells you everything about the mood, doesn't it? And what's really telling is Hitler, after Poland, he actually seemed to hope Britain and France might just accept it, make peace.
He did offer peace terms, didn't he? October 6, 1939.
Yeah, he did.
But the Allies weren't having any of it. France and Britain flatly refused. You have to remember, after years of German expansion, Czechoslovakia, Poland, trust was gone. Zero trust left.
Understandable.
So that refusal locked them into what they called a long war strategy. They weren't just saying no to peace. They were consciously preparing for a long, drawn-out conflict.
Like World War I all over again, basically.
That was the model. Focus on rearmament, build up industry, prepare for a defensive war on land, and use a trade blockade to slowly strangle Germany's economy. Plan for the long haul.
So you've got Germany maybe hoping for a quick win or at least planning a fast offensive, and the Allies preparing for this slow grind. A total mismatch in thinking.
A strategic chasm, absolutely.
And for France, that long war idea was tied directly to this fortress mentality, wasn't it? Stemming from the horrors of 1914, 1918.
Precisely. Their whole defensive strategy, built up through the 30s, hinged on the Maginot Line.
Ah, yes, the famous Maginot Line.
An incredible feat of engineering, really. Yeah. Concrete forts, big guns, underground railways. The idea was, 1, save manpower on that static front. 2, physically stop a direct German attack on the Franco-German border. And 3, crucially, force any German attack to go north into Belgium.
Fight the war somewhere else, basically. Keep it off French soil.
Exactly. Avoid repeating the devastation of the last war. But, and this is a huge but.
There's always a but.
This whole strategy rested on one absolutely critical and, as it turned out, fatal assumption about the Ardennes forest.
The hilly forested region they thought tanks couldn't cross in force?
Right. Top French commanders, Pétain, Gamelin, respected figures, they considered it impenetrable for large mechanized forces. Too hilly, too dense, plus the Meuse River as another barrier. They thought it would buy them plenty of time to react.
But didn't they run war games? I seem to recall reading that.
They did. That's what's so astonishing. French war games in 1938 actually simulated a German armored attack through the Ardennes. And somehow, they still came away feeling secure. They concluded the terrain, and the river would slow any attack down enough for them to counter it.
Wow. So even their own simulations didn't shake that core belief.
It really raises the question, doesn't it? Why stick to that belief, even when your own exercises and later intelligence hinted it might be a weak spot?
Confirmation bias. Seeing what you expect to see.
It seems like it. A deeply ingrained belief, maybe a kind of institutional inertia, just overrode the evidence.
Yeah.
They saw the Ardennes through the lens of past wars. not the potential of modern mobile warfare.
It's incredible. And this difference in thinking wasn't just strategic, it played out in the armies themselves, right? Because on paper, the Allies looked pretty strong.
Yeah, the numbers look good for them initially.
You've got, what, 135 Allied divisions total? Over 100 French, plus British, Belgian, Dutch, Polish.
Correct. And more artillery, significantly more. About 14,000 guns versus Germany's roughly 9,500.
And tanks, too. More Allied tanks.
Yes, around 3,200 French tanks versus about 2,400 German tanks. Plus, the French army actually had more motor vehicles, overall trucks, transport, than the Germans did.
So looking at those numbers, you'd think the Allies were in a pretty good position.
You would think that.
Yeah.
But those numbers hid some serious problems. Big qualitative deficiencies, especially for the French.
Like what?
Well, for starters, their mobilization back in September 39 was chaotic. Officers didn't know their roles, technicians were assigned to multiple places, massive shortages of basic kit. We're talking hundreds of thousands of pairs of trousers, blankets missing. Just imagine trying to get an army ready like that.
Morale must have taken a hit right away.
Absolutely. And training for the kind of fast mobile war the Germans were planning. Minimal.
And the tanks, you said they had more, and weren't French tanks individually better armed and armored?
Some were, yes, like the Char B1 bis or the SMUA S-35. Good armor, good guns for the time. But most were slower than their German counterparts. Their radios were notoriously unreliable, often non-existent in many tanks.
Communication breakdown waiting to happen.
Exactly, and a really critical flaw, smaller crews, often just 2 or 3 men. This meant the commander usually had to load the main gun himself.
So he can't command or spot targets or think tactically while he's stuffing shells in the cannon?
Precisely. At the most critical moments, the commander was distracted. Plus, their doctrine generally scattered tanks along the front to support infantry units rather than concentrating them for a powerful punch. It was World War I thinking, basically.
Okay, so the French have numbers and some decent tanks, but poor communication, overburdened crews, and outdated tactics. How did the Germans compare? They had fewer tanks, less transport.
Right. Fewer tanks, less motorized overall. A lot of their army, maybe 45%, was older guys over 40. Half their troops had only weeks of training. Many divisions were considered second or even third rate. They still relied massively on horses for logistics.
Horses?
Really? In
Yeah.
1940.
Thousands and thousands of them. So, on paper, Germany had weaknesses too. But they compensated brilliantly.
How?
Doctrine and integration. First, radios. Almost all German tanks had radio receivers, and command tanks had voice transmitters.
So they could talk to each other in real time.
Yes. They could coordinate attacks, react instantly to changes, call for support. Is a huge advantage over the French using flags or hoping the commander wasn't busy loading the gun.
That makes sense. What else?
Auftragstaktik, mission command. This philosophy encouraged junior officers, even NCOs, to use their initiative. They were given objectives, but how they achieved them was flexible. It allowed for much faster decision-making right on the front lines.
Less waiting for orders from way up the chain.
Exactly, adaptability. And their tank crews were generally 5 men. Commander, gunner, loader, driver, radio operator, mechanic. Everyone had a specific job. The commander could command.
Efficiency. It
Yeah.
sounds much more efficient.
It was. Built for speed, built for coordination. And then there was the air power difference.
The Luftwaffe. The Luftwaffe was arguably the best air force in the world at that point. Experienced from Spain and Poland, well-equipped, well-trained, around 5,600 combat aircraft.
Wow. Compared to the Allies?
Allies had maybe half that number, around 2,900 planes combined, and many were older, obsolete types. The French Air Force, even though they were building planes quickly, had terrible problems with spare parts. Lots of planes grounded because they couldn't be maintained.
So not only fewer planes, but fewer actually able to fly.
Correct. Plus, the Germans had a massive advantage in anti-aircraft guns, their flak, including thousands of those heavy 88mm guns,
The infamous 88.
which turned out to be deadly against tanks, too. So the Germans had this integrated system, tanks, infantry, air power, even anti-aircraft all working together. The Allies were still thinking more compartmentally.
Okay, so the forces and doctrines are miles apart. What about the actual plans? Where did each side intend to fight? The Allies had the Dyle Plan, right?
Yes. The Dyle Plan, later tweaked to the Breda variant. This was their big idea. Based on the assumption the main German attack would come through central Belgium.
The classic invasion route.
Exactly. So the plan was to rush their best units, the French First Army Group, highly mobile divisions, plus the British Expeditionary Force, the BEF, deep into Belgium.
Or deep?
Pretty far. To form a line along the Dyle River Givet, Namur, the Gembloux Gap, Wavre, Louvain, up to Antwerp. maybe even push the French 7th Army further north towards Breda in the Netherlands.
So they're pushing their best troops way forward.
Yes, committing their mobile reserves, stretching supply lines, banking everything on predicting the German main attack correctly. Very little flexibility if they got it wrong.
A huge gamble. What about the Germans? Their plan wasn't static, was it? Fall Gelb?
No, Fall Gelb, case yellow, evolved significantly. Hitler's first idea, back in October 39, was actually quite conventional. A frontal push through central Belgium, limited objectives. Holder's plan.
The one the Allies expected.
Pretty much. But Hitler wasn't satisfied. He wanted something more decisive, an armored breakthrough like in Poland. His generals were very nervous about that, thinking the French army was much tougher.
So pushback from within the German command.
Oh, definitely. Lots of skepticism. Then came the Mechelin incident, January 10th, 1940.
The plane crash in Belgium.
That's the one. A German plane carrying plans force landed. The Allies captured documents outlining Luftwaffe operations for an attack through central Belgium.
So the Allies got proof.
Well, here's the incredible irony. Allied intelligence looked at these captured plans and largely dismissed them. They thought it might be a plant or incomplete. If anything, it reinforced their existing belief that the real attack must be coming through central Belgium.
No way. So the leak actually made them more certain of their wrong assumption.
Exactly. It backfired on the Allies. The Germans, meanwhile, assumed their central Belgium plan was now blown wide open.
So they had to change it.
They had to change it drastically. And this is where General Manstein's radical idea comes in. Move the main effort, the Schwerpunkt, south, right through the Ardennes.
Through the impenetrable forests the French were ignoring.
The very same. It was audacious, brilliant, and terrifyingly risky. Manstein proposed it, Hitler loved it, and on February 24th, it became the new Fall Gelb.
Despite the risks. The logistics.
Despite huge protests from many senior German generals who thought it was logistical suicide, utterly irresponsible. But Hitler was convinced. He overruled them on February 17th, confidently predicting the whole campaign would be over in 6 weeks.
Wow. Just wow. The irony of that intelligence leak leading them to the perfect, unexpected strategy.
It's one of history's great what-ifs twisted into reality.
So there we have it, this huge gap in thinking. France dug in, relying on static defenses, haunted by the last war. Germany embracing speed, combined arms, audacious risk-taking.
A recipe for disaster for one side.
Absolutely. The Maginot Line, the Phoney War lull, that crucial intelligence mistake. It all combined to create this perfect storm of Allied overconfidence and German underestimation of their own potential.
The stage was well and truly set.
Next time, in Blitzkrieg in the West, the Battle of France 1942, the invasion begins, we are going to see those German plans explode into action.
Yeah, we'll witness the opening moves of Fall Gelb, the incredible glider assault on Fort Even-Emael in Belgium, a linchpin of the Belgian defenses taken out with shocking speed. And then the German tanks pouring through the Ardennes, smashing through the French lines where they were least expected.
The Allied plans will just unravel.
Instantly, we'll see the true meaning of Blitzkrieg unfold in horrifying detail.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? How often do our own past successes, or just the way we've always done things, blind us? Blind us to how fast the world around us might actually be changing.